It's really permeating popular culture, this sense that no one wants to be dictated a trend anymore, which is a wonderful thing. And right now, being fresh and authentic and coming up with something new is, I think, is where it's at right now.
Down on the West Coast, they got a saying, if you're not drinking, then you're not playing. But you've got the music in you, don't you? Down on the West Coast, I got this feeling like it all could happen. That's why I'm leaving you for the moment, girl, yeah, you're flying high at the show. I'm feeling hot to the touch. You say you'll miss me the most. I say I'll miss you so much. Something gets me really quiet. I'm alive, I'm a rush. Your love, your love, your love. I can see my baby swinging. Her parliament's on fire and her hands are up on the balcony, and I'm singing, move baby, I'm in love. I can see my sweet girl swaying. She's crazy, Cubana, come yo, my love. On the balcony, and I'm swinging, move baby, I'm in love, I'm in love. Down on the West Coast, they got their icons. They're silver starlets, the queens of Saigon. But you've got the music in you, don't you? Down on the West Coast, they got their movies. They're golden gods and rock and roll groupies. But you've got the music in you, don't you? You push me hard, I pull away. I'm feeling hotter than fire. I guess that no one ever really made me feel like I'm a child. Did they say you're Korean? Yo, girl, it's you I desire. Your love, your love, your love. I can see my baby swinging. The parliament's on fire and her hands are up on the balcony, and I'm singing, move baby, I'm in love. I can see my sweet girl swaying. She's crazy, Cubana, come on, you're my love. On the balcony, and I'm singing, move baby, I'm in love. I can see my sweet girl swaying. She's crazy, Cubana, come on, you're my love. On the balcony, and I'm singing, move baby, move. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love.
Awesome job, brother. Awesome job, man.
Thanks, Tino.
This is The Changing Stage on Intertalk Media. Connect to all things music. My name is Florentino Buenaventura. I'm the CEO of the network as well as the host of The Changing Stage. I'm here with Jared Swanson, a good friend from the band Abbot Kinney. And he's down here doing some solo stuff, blessing our fun city of San Diego. You are from San Francisco.
I am.
My old neck of the woods, Northern California.
Well, I'm actually originally from Los Angeles. But now, now that's San Francisco is my home for 5 years now.
And you were just in Los Angeles at the ASCAP kind of connection. What was it? What's it called again?
The ASCAP Expo.
There we go.
Yeah.
It was not that complicated, right, guys?
You got it. First try. You got it.
You know, the changing stage is kind of morphing into this new dynamic. Before, when you were around, well, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. We met through an organization called Balanced Breakfast. And you came down here to help us form San Diego's Balanced Breakfast, which serendipitously is happening tomorrow, 11 o'clock at Better Buzz over in PB.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be happening at 11 o'clock in the morning. So if you guys didn't get the invites, or if you haven't got a chance to peep it out on EnterTalk Media's page or my personal page, make sure you go there. Go just type that in, Balanced Breakfast San Diego. What that is it's a networking group, and that's how we met, right?
Yeah. So there was this desire in San Francisco to create more industry and community in the music space, because Los Angeles and New York is so known for being hubs for music.
Yep.
And I think there were a lot of musicians who were getting tired of losing bandmates and losing great bands to Los Angeles. And so a couple of people got together. Stefan Aronson.
I always want to call him Stefan. I don't know why.
Well, he may go by that. I've always called him Steph.
Potato.
But Andy Freeman, Piper Payne. Piper Payne invited me, and
great master.
She's a massive pillar of the music community and the president currently of the SF chapter of the Recording Academy. So she invited me. I think within 2 days of me moving to San Francisco, there was maybe the third meeting of Balanced Breakfast. And it was like 5 people.
Yeah, I was going to say it was like 5 people.
Yeah, and there were some pretty grand dreams that, coming from Los Angeles, having been a little bit wanting to move away from some of that flash of LA, I was like, these people are talking a big game, having come from this big industry city. Even I thought I knew
what it was.
Yeah, but
then from LA, all of the networking things were in the evening time. And what ends up happening is everyone gets up and poses, right? They're all wearing their rock star garb.
In LA?
Yeah, well, at least it used to be when I was living in LA. But now, I think it was like that in San Francisco, because that's why they created it, Balanced Breakfast. It was going to be in the morning, so that you just dragged yourself up, you barely combed your hair, you got your coffee, or you got your energy drink or whatever, and you're just dragging yourself to kind of get together.
I think the idea, some people respond to it like, why are we doing this at 8 in the morning where musicians will be playing at night? Why would we get up early? But I think the point of view was, if you're not happy with where your career is at, then you should be getting up early and really grinding.
That's a good
and doing the same thing that any other business owner has to do, which is get up and do work.
That's an interesting subject, because that's what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, cool.
Balanced Breakfast being a huge part of that. They're now multi-city, multi-state. It was like only a handful.
International.
International. So it's become huge. I don't remember how many cities, but we have 2 here locally in the San Diego slight Riverside area. So there's the Temecula chapter. Shout out to Steve Phelps and Kat and all those folks up there, Tim Moyer. Our chapter here, where we actually brought down Mindy Levine. She came from up north, and she's actually here. And she's going to
speaking tomorrow,
and I think she's going to help us kind of reform, because we took like a 2-year break. So this will be fun. It'll be fun to get that going. But it's all about the dynamic of this industry here.
Yeah, well, I remember coming down when Barbara Leung, who's the LA chapter lead, put us in touch, and felt like I might have some ideas, having seen so many and helped kind of grow the Bay Area. It was a lot of people there, because it feels like there's a lot of people in the music industry who are really looking for that community and looking for I mean, I just went to ASCAP Expo, and that was probably, there was a lot of things I took away from that. One of the things I took away from that was the feeling of togetherness and not feeling so alone when you commune with a lot of people who are working really hard.
Exactly. In this industry right now, to this day, when I first started in the industry, really communitized geographically in the same area. Communities now are built online, and sometimes you never meet these people locally. And as cool as it is to do it online, it really makes a difference when you can be in the same geographical space, sharing that energy, talking about the good, the bad, the ugly of the way the business is. So, that's a big kudos to.
Yeah, and whether you're a music professional like you, or me and my band, or their bands, you're often in a corner, writing or creating or
making music
editing
on your computer, doing
editing constantly, and that can be super isolating. So to kind of go to the well, and get with other people, and get some.
So kind of with that said, we also want to talk about your band, Abbot Kinney, and here are a couple of the CDs that you guys have out. So tell us a bit about these CDs, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how you communitizing and how you working and networking, because that's how we're able to get you down here, is this whole connection piece. So tell us about the CDs.
Well, the black one there, which is this one here, it's like a digipack style CD. CDs. Who has CDs anymore?
I know, right? Well, I was told by somebody that these are still really a good calling card.
Yes.
Because as nice as an easy and simple as the MP3 or any portable digital version of it is, there's a tactile piece. I mean, I've been holding on to these since we started before we started the interview. It's like, I got something. That's an MP3 to me.
You can touch it.
So
it's you can keep it forever.
There's some marketing value to these. And we're going to talk a bit about
use it as a coaster when you get Spotify.
Frisbee,
finally.
Throw it at Paul.
Frisbee.
Wake him up. Hit the switch. Sorry, guys.
But no, I mean, radio still uses CDs. A lot of radio does, and it's still the way I like to ingest full albums if I'm driving. And if you, especially in LA and San Diego, I mean, your car is like.
Well, I know that
you ingest music all the time.
We did an event with Mike Holleran from 98.9, and they're really doing a big push for local folks, and they did not want. They wanted CDs. They wanted CDs, packaged CDs, so that they can use for their radio network. We get them often, so I'd say that.
But anyway, this album, I made this a long time ago. I made this in 2010.
Oh, okay.
And it's a full length, and I spent 2.5 years on it because it was my first album, and I didn't want to put anything out there that years later I would be ashamed of. So I spent a lot of time on it. And I mean, there were songs where I had 3 or 4 versions, Pro Tools versions, that I was cycling through, and no, I don't want acoustic in it. No, I need to turn it up 3 BPM or whatever it was. Like, it was just a constant.
Was it hard to finally say, all right, no more, this is it, we're going to put it on? It was hard.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I spent my time. So I think by the time we got there, it was like,
you were ready.
Let's put this thing out. I was proud of it. And now I listen back, and I'm sure there's a couple things here and there where.
Well, there's always those.
But I think it was the right move for me on the first album to not treat it like a quick demo.
Well, it's like listening to that one song that you loved back in the day, and you listen to it now and go, how can I even have been into that at all?
Yeah.
So sometimes you just change.
But you know how it is. It's like maybe half this album, I'll be like, and then. The other half, I'm like, maybe I could have.
How about this one right here?
Put some more time into it. I don't know, but yeah, I still love this album very much. It's dear to me. And then this one.
And none of you guys can have these. These are mine. Just so you know. Yeah. You got to go get your own.
Well, we're almost out of these.
Are you?
Yeah. There's only like 9 or something left of these.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this one, I put this out 2 years ago.
Okay.
2016. It's like almost exactly 2 years. And it's called The Night.
And that's when we met, when
I was just finishing this.
Yeah.
And this one, essentially, when I was living in Los Angeles, I went through a complete bottoming out of experience as a person.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say that. My identity like got flattened, and I think it was just a sense of not being honest or authentic with myself.
Were you really pushing to try to get the big success versus just being yourself within music?
100%. And that's interesting because in this I definitely put artistry into it and worked a long time, but along the way of trying to get it out there and also kind of the realities just of being an entertainer is it takes a lot of work and a lot of grinding. And I think I just reached this point where I was constantly, not to be a downer, I was just constantly judging myself based on other people's lives and success. And
but I think that it hits everybody at some point once you start, approaching past your mid-20s, going into 30s, you start going, oh, my buddy, he just graduated from college, he got a degree, he's working at this place, and he's making good money. I'm here struggling with my music. And
you're serving famous people their coffees. It's spilling it on Hugh Jackman and being like, oh, God, what am I doing here? No, but...
did that really happen?
Something like that happened. Okay. I don't want to say who it was. But anyway, the point is that, like, I just experienced this kind of thing where I was only here to try and make it. And that's just not how I identify authentically as an artist.
And I think that's one of the things I like about this. I don't know, it's kind of weird, this new form of the music industry. And it really changed around, I'd say probably started kicking into the change, maybe 2014, 15, because up until that point, it was gradual, but then all of a sudden, it changed overnight. About that time when this happened,
maybe even with the political climate change,
that definitely
partially,
kicked in.
What feels really good to me right now is, for years it felt like I was kind of crazy, like I was identifying as a person of color, and in this industry too, I think I felt like speaking my mind about how things felt different. You may have, I don't know if you've experienced this, but how you feel different in different interactions. People would be like, well, maybe it's you. Maybe it's something that you're doing. So always questioning my own perspective. And I think in the last couple years that conversation is pivoting, and now I'm starting to feel like, oh wait, I've always had a real perspective worth hearing and worth acknowledging. And I know that in this political climate, the drive is to kind of speak up and kind of make speeches, and that's not really who I am. I think more than anything, I want to kind of come out of the shadows. If that last EP that came out 2 years ago was about refinding myself and rediscovering my foundation and my home. And that was during the time where everything seemed fine during Obama, and I was still feeling kind of like this reality doesn't really make sense with what I'm perceiving. And so I had to find my own.
You had to find that foundation of where
that own grounding.
And I think that is a tale I think that's happened for all artists. The biggest difference now that I think, kind of going back to the transition of it, is you hit the nail on the head earlier. There's the isolation, because you're doing. I know a lot of artists that all they do is interact with their computer, their webcam, and their circular lighting, so that they have the right lights. Instagram. Well, just in general, like YouTube stars and these folks, they're really not, out in the community. Not every one of them, but a number of them are just, interacting with themselves and a screen, and then they get, comments, likes, questions through this computer. So it's really not a person you're interacting with. In some ways, it's a machine. Although there are people that are responding, and there are a lot of them sometimes for some of these people. So it really can be confusing for people that their success is tied to these likes or tied to these validation of engagement, and that's important. But there's a bit of a loss of I think human experience and
well, the reason we're doing it, the reason I'm doing it is to connect.
Exactly.
Is ultimately to connect.
And that's why you're on tour and doing these different things.
Well, and to learn how to do it better, and to if that album was about reconnecting and grounding, now it's about stepping out into the light and going shoulder to shoulder with everyone, and being a part of the conversation. I want to listen a lot.
Yeah,
you know, the Me Too movement is so important. You know, I don't want to be making all the speeches. I'm here to add my voice to the conversation. And I don't feel afraid of doing that anymore. You know, I feel okay with doing that, and empowered to do so.
Well, and with that kind of said, give us a little bit of what that sounds like. I want you to pick up the guitar, play
some more music.
Yeah, we want to add some music in here to go along with this.
Okay.
Kind of dialogue connection that we've got going on. So.
Well, I prepared the next 2 songs. One was from the first album, and one was from the second album that came out 2 years ago. So I can do here. I'll do one from the first album.
Let's do that.
You know. Okay.
One is all you ever had. One is all you ever needed. I was the one who attacked. You were the one who conceded. Nobody does it quite like you, darling, you. Nobody does it quite like you, like you, like you. Before I could talk, I was no one's son. Before I could walk, I swore off my tears. I never thought you would be the one to bring back all my fears. Nobody does it quite like you, darling, you. Nobody does it quite like you, like you, like you. Well, I can't believe it. No one is helping my love, my love. No sirens are screaming, no one can stop me. How come? How come? One in the head, 2 in the back. Shoot till she's dead, the room goes black. Sitting on the bed where she sat, I made a bed in my lap. Nobody does it quite like you, darling, you. Nobody does it quite like you, like you, like you. Well, I can't believe it. No one's helping my love, my love. No sirens are screaming, no one can stop me. How come? How come?
Jared Swanson. Woo! Abbot Kinney. Great tune. What was the name of the tune again?
That's called One Is All You Need.
One Is All You Need.
Yeah.
And you know, I think a lot of the sentiments that you were talking about really came out of the music with, you know, what you were going through. That, you know, to me it just said you wanted to connect.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's kind of, and that's what I think this industry really needs. I don't know. Let's kind of tackle it from the 100-foot level.
Let's get into it.
What is this? What do you've traveled a lot. You've been a leader with Balanced Breakfast. You know, you really, you've also understand the need for rich media and marketing, because you do that when you're not performing. What is this industry like now for you? What do you see from a very broad level, the direction that we're going, and how does that apply right now, going back to your own personal project?
Yeah, well, I think we were just on that conversation. That was even the next kind of...
That was the next topic.
Yeah, that the music has completely shifted, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this was probably the biggest thing I took away from ASCAP Expo.
It's good we caught you after that, because there's a lot of great information from
so many thoughts going through my brain. You know, I tried to meditate today, and it's just like all the stuff from ASCAP was like swirling in my mind. You know,
I want to go back to that thought, but speaking of ASCAP, and that's Performance Rights Society folks. So they're the guys that go out and try to wrangle in all the money for the songwriters,
film,
and
TV,
all
radio,
that stuff.
Yeah.
So
live performances.
It's such a different dynamic, like you mentioned. Now, do they get it? Do you think they're on top of it at this particular point, or they're still
ASCAP?
Yeah, ASCAP.
Like that. Well, yeah. I mean, what I was going to say is the thing that I've been feeling, and what we've been talking about with the connection. It's really permeating popular culture. This sense that no one wants to be dictated a trend anymore, which is a wonderful thing.
That is definitely.
That right now, being fresh and authentic and coming up with something new is, I think, is where it's at right now. And that's a wonderful place to be, because as an artist, that just gives you so much freedom.
But it's also a challenge, because now it's really a moving target. You don't know where the next breakout artist is. I mean, obviously the topic of Childish Gambino's video that just came out.
Perfect example of authenticity.
Exactly.
In my opinion, you know, he's doing so many styles, and
it was very
speaking
bold.
From the heart.
It was very bold, but taking that step as an artist can be kind of scary, because that could have went the complete opposite direction for him. You know, because it's such a
even 3 years ago it would have.
Yeah, you're right.
Been
I think
more. But there have been artists who have been doing it.
A year and a half ago,
it
might have, you know, like you said, when the election changed, whether you're pro or against, that was really polarizing. That just, the whole world changed because America changed. And, you know, and then with something like that, if that would have came out a couple of years ago, it may not have made the same impact as it does now.
Well, and there's been such a burnout factor as far as complaining and politics. There's such a burnout factor right now. It almost feels like it's Robert Kennedy era again, you know, and after that, such a sad event. And
I was actually there around that time. I wasn't young enough to remember it, but I was.
But there's like this kind of burnout thing happening, where I think people are reinvesting in themselves and reinvesting in their immediate families and immediate connections and with the people who they care about. And I think that is providing a really nice kind of inner checks and balances to really listen to your own intuition, and I think that's a really cool thing for music, because it's a little bit more honest, in my opinion.
I think so.
A little less based on kind of, oh, well, this is what should be on the radio right now, because that's what is in the cycle. It's nice that there's this kind of changing element happening.
So bringing that back into the big picture that we're talking about, how do you see, because there's challenges, are we going to get the big stars like a Prince ever again, where these mega stars, or Michael
Childish
Jackson?
Gambino. I mean, he's exploding right now.
He is. Well, we'll see. He's retiring too, so we'll see if he's
retiring.
Well, that's what he announced at one point. This was going to be his last album.
Wow.
But you know how that goes. But my point being is, that type of dynamic where it was, completely over the top big.
Okay.
I mean, these.
I mean, Prince is a wonderful example of someone who did his own thing.
He did.
And.
But it was somewhat. I would say that back in the day, he used the system back in the day to understand the sensationalism. Some of that stuff was authentic, but I was a big fan when he first started out. The first album For You, but when he jumped into Dirty Mind, it was just when that whole non-radio friendly version of Prince came out, I was totally into that. But part of that was architected by him. There was an intent to shock and awe.
Well, that's a big part of it, though. I'm not, I'm not wearing my show-ready clothing at home recording.
Yeah.
But
whereas actually he did.
He did at home.
From what I heard, people who know him, he was
always ready
he
to
was
go.
Always, there was a story where he was sitting around with this glorious bathrobe that was purpley or whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody had walked in on him doing some stuff. It was from a previous show, but it was real. He was like sitting there in this, what you would think the kind of bathrobe Prince would wear.
Sure.
So they had that personality.
Well, and that's like in when he was along, right? He was along on his stardom yet, or was this early?
No, this was later on. This was
later on. Yeah.
This was probably in the early mid 2000s.
I mean, I wonder how much popularity plays into that. It's like becoming a bit of the persona.
Yeah. But going back to that piece.
But I mean, is for Prince. Clearly, that was a part of him. I mean, that was. If he's at home wearing a purple robe, maybe he felt the most comfortable that way. I don't know.
You'll have to listen to the Robin DiMaggio story, folks, if you really want to hear this, on Jackie's Groove, because I'm not going to name it on this show. It was a little graphic, but it was real. It happened. So, but they'll hear more about the bathrobe that I mentioned in the episode that came about because of all that stuff. But anyway, the industry is kind of, there isn't any clear direction. So it's this almost kind of nebulous. You can make this happen because it's you. You can make this happen because it's that other person. There really isn't any one direction. Before, you used to know that, hey, you make a demo tape, you find enough money to make a good demo tape, you go out and meet a bunch of people at networking events, you hopefully meet somebody who knows somebody that knows an A&R person over at a major label, you get that recording to them, and you hope that they like it and want to support you. You build a fan base along that line. And there was pretty much, that was the direction you go. Now you could be a YouTube star, you could be somebody that's, just touring.
I think that's still true, though. To some extent. I mean, you can be discovered. You can be a needle in the haystack for sure.
Really?
Still. But I mean with the YouTube star. You can, that does happen, right?
Yeah, there are definitely the YouTube stars. Tori Kelly is a good example.
But I think you still have to have connections, you still have to hustle, you still have to go to all of
those business
events.
Practices are there.
That's still real.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got to know how to demo.
Yeah.
You still have to be able to play instruments and record it. You can't just show up in the studio and hope it goes okay.
Yeah. So, well,
I think that still happens.
I do. I just don't think there's a company that's out there that can make you that next star. And I think that was what you mentioned at ASCAP, that particular vehicle. I don't think Warner Brothers or any of the other, Sony or any of the big majors, are really in a position to make stars like they once did. I mean, you get a few of them. You get your, Ariana Grande's, who came out of Disney, and that's probably the biggest vehicle for any kind of, star trajectory, if you will. But for the most part, I don't think that they're the iconic stars of before. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes out.
Well, and that's never been my focus even,
Yeah.
like as much as I'd like to weigh in on that, that kind of career path has never been the most interesting, although, I'm co-writing a lot more and, have been
exploring,
open more and more, to writing for people who are talented. I mean, these people do, I think, rise to the top often because they have something that they can really do.
Yeah.
Whether that's sing 100 songs a year and co-write with a lot of people and be an awesome hang and create something that people can dance to, or something that really hits the heart. Those huge stars, they clearly are doing something right. So I'm not against, co-writing and being a part of a process that makes a great song, and adding my own authentic voice to that, But that being said, that's never been my focus. That iconic, this. I mean, Prince more than the other people you mentioned. But having a staff of like 12 writers writing my songs, that's just not the way I write.
I don't. Are they seeing that still a big part of the industry when you went to the ASCAP Expo, or is that something that's kind of changed where people are mostly writing music for themselves? Do they have the vehicles?
It's both, I think.
Because I know that you got licensing, films, TV. Most of the writers are kind of moving that direction, video games. But the people that were writing the music for all those artists back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, when they were, like you said, they were singers. Celine Dion, Whitney Houston. You had all these great writers writing for them. I don't know if that's a.
Oh, that's totally still happening.
Is it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's like all kinds of writers. I mean, I went to the Grammys, this year in January, and when they read Best Song of the Year, I mean, sometimes it's 2 writers, but it also can be like 6.
Yeah.
People who are on that publishing company and are really talented and are brought together and together can create something really special. It can go either way still, I think. I mean, I think co-writing is such a big part of this industry just for the most obvious reason, right? You're putting more heads together.
Exactly. And I think maybe that's what I'm seeing when I've, been the studies that I've looked at. You've got, a collection of writers, and they identify a certain song. And I can't remember what the song for the life of me or the person who sang it, but I was watching some guy out of Sweden who was working with some people here. They had a young lady that wrote a song, and they took it and they produced it with her singing. They didn't like her singing it, so they went through a series of other different artists that sang it.
Totally.
And it became a hit, and they added a couple other people to kind of come in and chime in on writing that. That's I guess a little bit different model. Even seeing Ed Sheeran with how he wrote some songs.
Yeah, it's pretty common, I think. It feels common at the top because I saw Meghan Trainor talk about that and how she had written some songs that were being used by different people.
Yeah.
And then All About That Bass.
Yeah, that made it.
She never thought that would be the tune
for her. Yeah. The same thing happened.
So you don't know.
Yeah, with Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
He was writing songs for a lot of other people before he hit.
Yeah.
So I guess there is a bit of that. Just,
totally.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I think you don't know what's going to be the thing that people react to as an artist, right? So the idea that you work with artists and maybe are able to find the thing for you or for you that.
Do you find yourself looking to maybe write for other people?
Oh, totally. I mean, I'm already co-writing with people.
But is it co-writing for your projects or for other people's projects?
My project feels so personal.
That it's just you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel similar to Sia in the way that she wrote a lot of hits for other people, but I'm not doing what she's doing. But in the fact that for her, she'll have songs where she's like, that's
So you're
fine.
Not going to swing from the chandelier?
Yeah. Well, no.
That was a great song, though.
Maybe in my 20s. But, yeah, I mean, I think for her, she will be like, this is a Sia song.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the same reason why I can co-write. Maybe I'd be open to people writing tunes in my direction. There'd have to be a lot of trust there.
Yeah. To understand where your heart's at. So with that said, for someone like you, we've talked about a lot of different things you're doing. You're writing, you're co-writing, you're playing, you're touring, you are doing rich media for other people. You're doing it for yourself. Where do you see your an artist like you, where's your trajectory going right now? What do you see are maybe the 3 keys to get you to your goal?
Who knows? I mean, ultimately, it's writing a great song.
Yeah.
I love the songs I've written. I think the next batch of songs I'm writing are even better, and I think that's because as an artist, I'm getting closer and closer to myself and my own truth. And so I think that's the biggest thing, more than anything else. I mean, there are business things, you know. There's getting involved with more distribution companies, or a distribution company who helps do what we were just talking about. Put you in a room with other artists who are really talented and working together. You know, getting a song in a big movie or a big television series really helps, or a commercial. So those things could all help the career, but ultimately...
Which is so funny, that was so counterintuitive to yesterday's folks. If you were in a movie or on a television show, you sold out. Yeah, it's a different world.
Well, I mean, it's so many people doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so now to grow your audience, you got to pop out, and that might take being in something that is widely consumable.
Yeah.
But always, it's about the song. It's always like, I mean, if I'm 10 years from now, and I'm rich and famous, and I have songs placed all over the place, and I'm on billboards, and I do not like the music I made, I don't know that I've succeeded. But if I'm making great music and writing great songs that feel like I'm expressing what the inner child that started doing this,
the reasons why you did it,
then I'm succeeding.
So
that's what I'm going for.
First key, be authentic, write great music.
Yeah, that's everything.
It's got to be good, or else people aren't. Nowadays, really, it's really, you know, people aren't gonna. It won't resonate with people. Number 2, I'm gonna throw that out there because I've known you. This is how we connected. Is networking, making sure that you are connecting.
Real connections.
Yeah. Balanced Breakfast, folks. Make sure you go tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Better Buzz, PB. So there was that. I had to throw the pitch for the event tomorrow. Number 3, what would be your 3rd key to where you're going and to make it to your goal? And what is your goal actually? Eventually, we talked a little bit about it, but where you know when you're like doing it, what's that goal?
Well, like my dreams come true goals. Yeah. That's a really hard thing to answer because I think it's a moment-to-moment thing. Some days I want to be in Europe and traveling the world and sharing my music, and sometimes I want to be holed up in a studio and making music. And I think ultimately it's my goal is accepting myself.
Okay.
Exactly where I am, and that means as much as possible, whatever room I'm in, I really want to be there. So that's my ultimate goal.
Whatever room I'm in, I want to be there.
Yeah.
That's a great goal because that means you're happy with yourself. So
yeah.
3rd one, guys, that's the key to success. With that said, man, I'm going to have you play us out a song. I really appreciate you being here, brother.
I'm so grateful that
you for coming down.
That you had me. I really appreciate it. This was an awesome talk.
Jared Swanson, everybody. Abbot Kinney. Go out. iTunes, Spotify, all the.
Yeah, Spotify is oddly important these days.
Exactly.
Follow on Spotify.
Well, all the cool kids hang out, right? Yeah. Online, at least, musicians. So.
Yeah.
Again, Balanced Breakfast tomorrow. If you don't make it out tomorrow, make sure you connect somebody with your community. Be authentic, and then just always enjoy whatever room you're in. You know.
Yeah, enjoy the journey.
Yep. Take it away, brother.
I've been up half the night, wondering how to make it right. I thought that we could keep it going. It's hard to believe she said I didn't try. I really don't need a guide. at 3 in the morning when he wants to see me. Deadlock traffic at 1:45. Trying not to worry, gotta get to you soon. Can't drive faster, honey, it's no use. Keep moving, moving. Deadlock traffic, I can't get through. Keep trying to exit, but there is no room. Some big disaster I'm heading to. Keep moving, move. She told me not to cry. She told me everything's alright. I just need some time alone to breathe, breathe. Won't go without a fight. I don't wanna keep inside all the words I left untold. Darling, please, please. Deadlock traffic at 1:45. Try not to worry, gotta get to you soon. Can't drive faster, honey, it's no use. Keep moving, moving. Deadlock traffic, I can't get through. Keep trying to exit, but there is no room. Some big disaster I'm heading to. Keep